Think about a person who is the biggest influence in your life, a person who inspires you to take the extra mile, a person whose actions influence you to become a better you. That person to me is my mother. Today I would like to talk about my mother, Jocelyn Forrest Kimball, and all the great things she has done. My mother has helped many people throughout her life, especially my family, in order for them to get to America. One thing that my mom is really known good for is she's very charismatic, kind, hardworking, loving, and a person that I'm grateful to be able to have in my life. My mother is a hardworking person. She's very kind, and she's an inspiration to my life. Now that we know some details, let's begin with how my mother is hardworking. My mother is a hardworking woman who refuses not to let her goals be achieved and the ones around her. She always comes to the conclusion of trying to complete all her goals, whether it be something small or big. She always installs into me and my brother and my family that we need to be able to be hardworking in order to our goals to be achieved. She always pushes us to our boundaries, past our boundaries, in order for us to get to the next step into our lives, especially when it comes towards schools. After a long, hard day of work, my mother comes home from work and she helps around the house, especially when it comes to cooking. She always helps push us. She always puts some great food on our table and always makes sure that all of us is doing good physically and mentally when it comes to things. Now that we know how my mom works hard, let's just move on to the next point and how loving she is. My mother is a very loving and kind woman, especially with her family and friends. No matter where you're at around my mother, you always feel as if you're at home. Whether you're outside at a restaurant, wherever you're at a party, you always feel as if you're in a family environment, knowing that my mother is around. My mother always wants to make sure that whatever issue that you're going through, that if she can help with it, she does. She always tries to push us to express whatever emotions that we need to be expressed, whatever's going on through our life. She always is there to help us. Whatever the case may be, if we're going through some things, she always wants to make sure that we're doing good and tries to talk to us about the situation, whether it might be big, small, anything at all. Another good thing that my mother is always good at doing is whenever it comes to her friends, she always makes sure to call up on them. You know, she makes sure that they're doing good. Always make sure that no matter what the case is, that if she can help them, she's there for them. Now that we know that my mother is a loving and kind woman, especially with me and my family and friends, let's just take a moment to move on to the next following one, which is how she's my inspiration. My mother is a big inspiration in my life, who I wish I can be. She's very caring, loving, kind, and hardworking woman, and is inspiring to me. She always makes sure, no matter what, to help push us to the next step in life. It's always good to have someone, especially my mother, in our life because it helps install this thing into our head that we have to always be hard in order for our goals to be achieved. We have to be hardworking and we have to be patient with things we plan out. Not everything's gonna happen as we plan it to be, but if hard work and dedication, it always can take you to the next step. When it comes to my mother and her past struggles and her achievements, it's always something that inspires me to always take the next step, especially when it came from her country that she was from, the Philippines. Knowing her struggles out there from being over there to come in America, the steps that she took even to get to there, from there to here, it's very inspiring for me because I can't take things for granted because now that I know that she's coming from a different country, it inspires me to work even harder to get to the point that I'm capable of making my dreams come true for my mother and making her dreams come true of making her son in America be able to do what he wanted to do. My mother inspires me every day to take that extra mile that I need to when completing my goals. Whatever the case may be, even in school, my mother always tells me to like push myself to get to the next step. Um, I might be exhausted or tired from working, but my mother always tells me that that's just temporary. Um, things are just temporary for that. Like being tired, you can always like get some sleep later, but for now you just have to do what you gotta do in order to get done what has to be done. Um, Another thing that is always good is she always uh she always helps motivate me when it comes to things as well. Uh, Now that we know how my mother is my inspiration in my life, let's just take a moment to review what we have learned so far. Right? My mother is a great inspiration in my life, so I am grateful to be able to have her with me and have someone so great. My mother is one of the most charismatic, kind, hardworking, loving, and kind person you could meet. My mother is a hardworking woman who refuses to not let her whole goals to be achieved. My mother is a very loving, kind person who makes you feel home anywhere. And my mother is an inspiration in my life that I hope I can be like her when I get older. My mother is one of the biggest influences in my life that I hope pushes me every day to help me be better. I hope that someone in your life inspires you to be able to take you to the extra mile to become a better you. And mothers are giving, gentle, nurturing, supporting, comforting, and accepting. These are the many words that help describe my mother and mothers around the world. I hope that someone in your life is a big influence and supportive as my mother is to me.